Can men get pregnant? It's like a pretty basic question. It's leading to a stunning moment during a Senate hearing. Dr. Nisha Verma, she actually refused to give a straight answer when questioned by Senators Josh Hawley and Ashley Moody.
Give me your opinion as a doctor. Can men get pregnant?
I mean,
based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a...
It's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer. As a medical professional and as a scientist, can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female.
Okay, first of all, there's the up-talking, Kayleigh, and that drives me crazy. But also, Josh Hawley is one of the most effective cross-examiners. You have to come more prepared than that. And clearly, because it's nonsense, she didn't have anything else to say.
Yeah, he asked her 11 times for a basic, scientifically based answer from a doctor who presumably follows the science. I mean, look, as a woman who's been pregnant 3 times, it is deeply insulting to suggest that Greg or Jesse or Harold could endure what we women endure. It is 10 months of hell. Let's just be real.
Correct.
And we earn the right to say we are the gender that gets pregnant. We are the gender that can endure it, but the left won't give us that. But it's crazy to me, the science. Like, I was beaten over the head with the science at the podium, but it's only the convenience science. The science that shows kids should go back to school during COVID, they just threw that out, discarded it. The science that shows only women can get pregnant. You have to have a uterus, ovaries to get pregnant. They just throw that out the window. And then they jump through the hoops. I mean, NPR at one point called us menstruating people. Like, what does that mean? And the CDC, this is the worst part, the CDC under Biden actually called pregnant women pregnant people. So the science is great, but for the left, it's only the science that's convenient.
What do you think of all of this, Greg? But you have some thoughts.
Maybe it's my PMS. But I get really irritated when I see people like Dr. Verma in action. She's a woman and a doctor. She's operating in the outer layer of linguistic deception, you know, where every answer is an obstructive maneuver to keep out the, you know, keep you from getting close to what she really thinks. When Hawley asked her about the truth, her response is to respond from this outer layer of deflection. Maybe we can go offline and have a discussion. We should have that conversation. I can't help. No, you could have just answered the question, but I think she doesn't realize that this whole kind of mode of deflection is defunct, that the wokeism in this particular issue is dead, and she's the last person to know. I mean, what other health fads is she still holding on to that have been debunked? You know, like sitting too close to the TV makes you blind, or, you know, I don't know, swallowing gum stays in your stomach, or
Alcohol's bad for you.
masturbation makes you short. But did you notice that one is true? All right. Did you notice the difference between the left and right and how they use language? Even if you look at the A block with Waltz and now this, the right uses language as it's intended to convey direct meaning, sometimes to a fault. Trump, he doesn't obfuscate. Thank you. It's direct language. You may not like it, but it's direct. The left uses language in reverse to confuse or obscure meaning. It's like they throw a smoke bomb in a debate class. That is the way you win, rather than use the real actual words. And if you cannot use words to reveal truth, then you can't have the debate. And that was her intention. She didn't want the debate to begin. And they're talking about abortion drugs. You got to be, men don't take abortion drugs.
I was talking to my husband last night, and his friend's son, girlfriend's a nurse, at a hospital in San Antonio, and there's a man in the labor delivery, and then all the nurses were required to refer to him as he and her, as he, him, as this person gave birth to a baby.
Wow.
And they were not happy.
Wow.
I just want to make sure everybody knows how tall I am, Greg.
Exception proves the rule.
Remember when Democrats thought they had like that gotcha question with Republicans? Who won the 2020 election? And then Republicans would be like, well, Joe Biden is president now. Well, did he win? Well, he was certified. It's like the same thing. They think they had you. This is the question. Johnny is now going to go out, and he's going to ask everybody this question. You have common sense, and then you have education. And if the higher you go up in education, the more they beat the common sense out of you. Because when you get into a professional job, they don't want common sense. They want you to toe the company line. And this is what they've done to doctors now. The medical profession has become corrupted by politics. We used to admire doctors. And now half of them you think are quacks. Because what did they do? The whole country got fat, sick, and obese, and no one said anything for 4 decades except Kennedy, who's not a doctor. And then you had Joe Biden walking around, and no one said, guys, he's losing it. What did they say? They said Trump's mentally ill. And then you had COVID come around, and like the one time we needed doctors to step up, no one stepped up and said something. The ones who did got excommunicated from the business. And then finally, you have these sex change operations. You'd think someone would say you're massacring little boys' and girls' bodies, and they went along with it because their executives were making cold, hard cash. That's why the best doctor in the country is Dr. Mark Siegel.
Ah, yes.
You gotta listen to Siegel.
Didn't you have a dream about the election?
I did. I dreamed that Trump won the election.
2020 election.
2020, and there was just massive fraud. It was a dream.
Harold, the Democrats embraced a lot
Men
of this.
cannot get pregnant.
Okay.
Okay, good.
This
Harold.
is not
Okay.
the Democratic company line. This is a line being promulgated by a bunch of people who are on the periphery of the periphery. We won't be taken seriously. Any Democrat that adopts this, you're not going to be taken seriously when you talk about housing and taxes and education and affordability if we can't agree that if you're not a biological woman, you can't have kids. Thank God Jesse and Greg can't have kids.
You know that Joe Biden came out on behalf of pregnant men. He actually stated how happy trans he was. It wasn't periphery of periphery, Mr. Harold Ford
He
Jr.
lost.
Yes.
Not in your dream.
Jesse told me about his dream, and I was glad it wasn't.
I had a dream.
I still think that this issue and going into 2026, every Democrat's going to be asked, do you support this kind of nonsense, or what about men playing in girls' sports? It's going to be an issue. And if I listened to 10-Minute Drill this morning, they have all this tape of Democrats who are running for Senate right now saying why they were voting those ways, and it's going to come back to bite them.
Yes.
Fight them where?
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.